Welcome to Nostalgia Sauce, where we're diving into the quirky world of weird 60s television shows. Join us as we explore the eccentric and unconventional series that defined a generation's entertainment landscape. Get ready for a nostalgic journey through the peculiar highs and unique quirks of television shows that dared to break the mold in the swinging 60s. Let's uncover the weird and wonderful side of 60s TV. Coming in hot at number 1, Gilligan's Island. A classic sitcom from the 1960s, Gilligan's Island is known for its strange concept and funny absurdity. The show is about 7 castaways, each of whom represents a different type of person, who get lost on an island after their 3-hour tour goes wrong. As the strange characters try to find ways off the island, they get into funny mishaps, such as Gilligan, the skipper, the millionaire and his wife, and the clumsy captain. The show is funny because their rescue efforts always fail, which leads to strange situations and unlikely outcomes. The strange mix of people, the improbable situations, and the fact that they are stuck in the same situation over and over again make Gilligan's Island weird and funny. Number 2, Lost in Space. Sci-Fi TV show, Lost in Space, which aired in the 1960s, is known for its strange mix of family problems, space travel, and strange alien encounters. The show is about the Robinson family, whose space trip goes wrong and leaves them stuck on planets they don't know anything about. The strangeness of the show is heightened by the strange robot friend in the mysterious Dr. Smith, whose scary and funny pranks add a unique dimension to the story. An oddball space opera that kept people watching, Lost in Space, often went into strange and fantastical areas, bringing in strange beings and strange events. Because it had a unique mix of space-age action and strange characters, the show is remembered as a weird and beloved 1960s TV show. Number 3, The Avengers. The British spy show, The Avengers, which aired in the 1960s, became famous for its experimental style and unique weirdness. The show mixed spy stories with strange and odd elements, and John Steed and Emma Peel were a stylish pair. The Avengers stands out because it has unusual plots, complicated gadgets, and people who talk to each other in smart but strange ways. Emma Peel's stylish clothes and fighting skills, along with Steed's bowler hat and umbrella, gave the show a unique charm. The show often used magic and science fiction, creating strange situations that didn't fit with typical spy stories. In the swinging 1960s, The Avengers was a leader in weird and new TV shows because it mixed the unusual with the stylish and the surprising. Number 4, Ultra Q. The Japanese TV show, Ultra Q, which aired in the 1960s, is notable for its unique mix of science fiction, mystery, and strange stories. In this show, which came before Godzilla, strange and supernatural things are looked into by the Science Patrol. Ultra Q is strange because it has a lot of strange creatures, from giant monsters to aliens, and the main characters meet strange things. The show has a strange and creepy vibe, and it often goes against what most stories do. Ultra Q became known as a delightfully weird and compelling show because of its creative storytelling and unique approach to the unknown. It paved the way for the Tokusatsu genre in Japanese television. Number 5, Dark Shadows. Dark Shadows, a Gothic soap opera from the 1960s, was a weird and original show because it brought supernatural elements to daytime TV. The Collins family and their scary experiences with vampires, witches, and other supernatural beings are at the center of the show. The unique thing about Dark Shadows is that it combines romance and supernatural horror, which is not usually found in soap operas. The show was more interesting because it had time travel, ghosts, and complicated magical plots. Dark Shadows became a cult favorite thanks to its creepy setting and creepy stories, solidifying its image as one of the strangest and most innovative TV shows of the 1960s. Alright, Nostalgia Explorers. Before we dive into our next weird 60s TV show, we want to hear from you. Which of these peculiar shows from the past is your favorite? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying the journey into TV oddities, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more nostalgic explorations. Jumping into number 6, The Wild Wild West. The TV show, The Wild Wild West, which aired in the 1960s, was a unique mix of Western and spy stories. The show takes place after the Civil War and follows James West and Artemis Gordon as they go on strange adventures as Secret Service agents. It's strange because it combines standard Western plots with futuristic gadgets, espionage, and things that don't make sense anymore. The show had a unique steampunk look and used cutting-edge technology for its time. By mixing Western themes with spying and science fiction, the The show was both strange and ahead of its time, adding to its reputation as a weird and groundbreaking 1960s show. Number 7. Get Smart. The spy spoof show, Get Smart, which aired in the 1960s, was very strange because it made fun of the spy genre. Following the clumsy secret agent Maxwell Smart, the show made fun of spy tales from the Cold War. It stood out because it had slapstick comedy, silly tools, and smart dialogue all in one. Smart's awkwardness and the group's useless tools, like the famous shoe phone, gave the spy story a strange touch. The show was full of silly jokes that made fun of both spy tropes and social worries at the time. Get Smart was a beloved and strange gem of 1960s TV because of its unique mix of humor and criticism. Number 8. The Monkees. In the 1960s, The Monkees, a musical sitcom, stood out as a strange and new show that broke the rules of standard sitcoms. The show was based on the tales of a made-up band, and it featured the crazy humor of its 4 members, Davy, Mickey, Peter, and Mike. The Monkees often broke the fourth wall and used surreal and avant-garde elements that made it hard to tell the difference between reality and fantasy. The show's fast-paced editing, psychedelic images, and silly stories were all very countercultural in the 1960s. It told stories in unusual ways and had musical breaks and crazy situations that were not normal for sitcoms. The Monkees made its name as a wonderfully weird and important 1960s show by being one of the first experimental TV shows. Number 9. Green Acres. In the 1960s series, Green Acres, a couple from New York went on strange adventures in the country. The show is about Oliver Wendell Douglas and his wife Lisa, who leave the city to live on a farm in the made-up town of Hooterville. Strange things about it were how different Oliver's wish for a traditional farm life was from the silly characters and situations in the country. The show poked fun at more than just rural life. It often broke the fourth wall and made fun of standard comedy tropes. With its strange humor, strange characters, and unique take on the rural comedy, Green Acres made a name for itself as one of the weirdest shows of the 1960s. Number 10. Bewitched. The supernatural sitcom, Bewitched, which aired in the 1960s, stood out as strange because of its creative idea and funny take on witchcraft. Samantha Stevens is a witch who is married to a human. The show is about how she tries to balance her magical skills with her desire for a normal life. It was strange because it had fantasy, domestic comedy, and social commentary all in one. Samantha's magical mishaps were often used as funny metaphors for gender roles and social norms. Bewitched broke the rules of typical sitcoms with its silly plots, talking animals, and witch living in the suburbs. It was a wonderfully weird and popular show in the 1960s. Thanks for joining us on this quirky trip through the weird and wonderful TV shows of the 60s. If you had a blast reminiscing about these oddities from the past, give us a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more nostalgic adventures.